Hey, it's Luke Anthony from Greatest Hits 98.1. We're doing a different kind of interview today. If you've watched our interviews on our YouTube channel, you know we pretty much do them all via Zoom or via phone because the person we're talking to is somewhere else in the country or somewhere else in the world. This person is actually here in the building. We're in the Greatest Hits 98.1 building with Sage Leary, you may recognize from around the area. I saw him in concert first time was about 5 years ago. It was at the Prince tribute concert that then Blue Gold Radio, now Converge Radio, was putting on at UW Eau Claire. Did an incredible job. I'm trying to remember which songs did you do? Did you do Let's Go Crazy?
I did, yeah.
Okay, that's right.
Let's Go Crazy and Raspberry Beret.
That's right, because I remember going, oh, okay, he sounds a lot like Prince. And he looks pretty young. That's saying something. So he's been on my radar, he's been on a lot of people's radars, and if you've not heard him play, you're going to now, which is the reason why we have him here. The reason we got this set up, well, Murph ran into him at Springfest, they got to talking, and he wanted to show how to do this thing called live looping. You familiar with Ed Sheeran? If you're not, well, one of the biggest stars on the planet. But one of his things is something that Sage does as well. Different particular setup, but it's called live looping. And it's literally how you kind of create the one-man band effect, in a sense that it give the layman's terms, and maybe I did the super simple version of it, but describe what is live looping.
So live looping is when you record something you're playing, and then at the switch of a pedal you can have it play back at the end of a loop, which is like a cycle that you usually do at the end of a chord progression or something. And then it's playing back. While it's playing back, you can overdub, which is record other parts over the top. And then I usually use my guitar to do what I just described. And then I also beatbox, so I use that for a percussive element. And then I have an octave pedal on my pedal board over here, which turns my acoustic guitar into a bass, essentially, so I can play my own bass parts. And then how I have it is I do like routines for each song, so like I'll record the guitars first, usually in my current system with the mic off to minimize feedback, and then that's playing. I'll overdub maybe an extra guitar part, and then go over to beatbox, turn off the mic again, and play some bass. So that's usually how I build a lot of my song loops. But if I'm just jamming, it's a little more freestyle. But that's kind of a more detailed description, I would say, of what I do.
Before we get to the good stuff, your background, what age did you start playing guitar, or really any instrument, I should say?
Yeah, well, any instrument, I don't know, I guess I played a little harmonica when I was really young, like 5 or so, and with my grandpa and my great aunt. I remember my grandpa got me a harmonica. I was playing that a little bit, and then I didn't really pick up the guitar until I was about 10, turning 11, have an August birthday. So it was I was 11 years old. Took lessons here at Morgan Music in town, and after about 3 years, was recording my first CD. 3.5 years. Feel the Sound, and after that they were like, good luck, you're on your own, you know. So I just taught myself through self desire and just YouTube, and learn everything I could from people I met, and I have a vision and I'm doing it, and here I am today.
What was the first time you did anything with live looping, and how did you learn that was a thing?
So when I was 13, I got a Jam Man looper pedal. Digitech makes that from my dad as a gift, and I was messing around with that. I'd just jam in the living room upstairs and stuff. That's how I came up with quite a few of the songs off my first CD, just by recording some of those. But that's how I started, and then I used that at certain shows. I used to bring a bass to shows as well, and with all my stuff, just playing out like amps and stuff at farmers markets, and then eventually got a PA system and some more pedals and whatnot. But that's kind of my progression. And then it wasn't really till I'd say second year of college here at UW Eau Claire that I picked up a new looper with 3 tracks. It's the same one that you just mentioned that Sheeran uses or has used in the past, and it's called the Boss RC300 looper station. Like I said, it has 3 compartments, and you can really break up different parts of a song. Like I break it up into drums, rhythm, and bass. So my drums are my beatbox, and then which is making drum sounds with your mouth, really. You know, just like, just that kind of stuff, percussive stuff. And then you can loop that. So yeah, I really break them up, because then I can play like certain parts on a certain section of the song or whatnot and turn them off at will. So it enables me to create a dynamic element to music I create.
All right, let's show how this works, and we can dive into a few of the things before he actually plays a few songs and builds them this way. So, describe, kind of break down like a song creation, but part by part, which individual part. Go ahead and demonstrate everything right here. Every
All right,
part.
yeah, sounds good. And if you want to film some of the footwork here. Okay,
Sure.
cool. Well,
So on the mic here. So I'm just going to make something up for you guys just to kind of show how live looping works. And kind of like I was saying, I usually start with rhythm guitar and then do some beatbox and the bass part. It's usually the order that works for me with the sound that I have, current system. But yeah, just going to play something for you, see what it turns into. So I just kind of built a loop for you guys there. I forgot to kind of talk through it, but basically kind of backtracking. So I did guitar, part, and then went over, did some beatbox and some bass. And now I'm going to jam on it, so we'll see what happens. All right.
All right. So down here, we'll kind of break down how each one goes. So if you can see down here on this loop station, there's a start stops, and that's the one you would kind of mute and unmute, essentially to get that coming out. It's like when you were going along and then suddenly it goes out and it comes back in. That's the all start stop.
Oh yeah. Yep.
Yep. So on here I have a I have an all start just stop button. So like play pause, and then I've got just right here, and then I've got a
loop effects pedal. I don't usually use that much, but what I have is the I'll play something else so you guys can kind of see. It's like a volume pedal, so you can kind of turn on and off the volume.
So you kind of fade out of a part too, if you want to, with that. Fade out. And then I'll just build this loop up too here, just so you can see the different parts. Playing just the drums and bass, and I can kind of solo over that if I want. Just the bass.
Track. So yeah, I can kind of break it up and play it all together and fade it out kind of thing too. So
And then mix
kind
them.
of a cool different effect.
And then for each one, like again, that's labeled drum, rhythm, bass. That's how you happen to have them set. Are they then, I presume, mixed back at the board so that the bass, obviously, that has more of a muffled sound. It doesn't sound like an acoustic guitar. It sounds more like a bass guitar.
Yeah, I'm actually kind of palm muting that a little bit, so as opposed to
Right. So they're patched accordingly so that different foot pedals can control different ones on there to provide different sounds. And then there's this, and then you probably saw on the camera earlier, there's this other bank of different sound effects that are again patched through different foot pedals. So you get the lead sound, you can get the delay is pretty self-explanatory, reverb is self-explanatory, rhythm provides a different tone than a lead tone, obviously.
Yeah, I have a lot of it just going through. I don't know, it's a really kind of interesting way this works, but I figured out to have it broken up. I even kind of forget exactly how I figured it out a couple years ago, but yeah, I know where they're supposed to go, obviously, so set up every show, but yeah, I mean the way the inputs are and everything kind of runs through the mixer and is EQ'd separately on there, specifically for the different tracks. You know, some people use two mics and everything, and I'm trying to get into that. I still have to kind of figure out how that works, though, with all the ins and outs and where chords go and stuff.
Right.
But so far, my just having one mic works pretty well. And then it's another thing on my bucket list, maybe like a toggle switch or something for the mics. I don't have to be like fussing with it, but yeah, it's in the works and it's working for me so far. Keep expanding as time goes on.
How many musicians around the Chippewa Valley are using live looping at this point?
I don't know. I mean, I'm the only one that I know who does this actively, but yeah, I'm sure a lot of other people are doing it. I mean, I've heard people have told me of other people who do it, like in Minneapolis and stuff.
Right.
Here, but yeah, I don't know.
The notion of the one-man band is different. There was, for those who remember it, especially if you're watching, if you're a Greatest Hits 98.1 listener, you may remember this. There was an early episode of Reading Rainbow. It was the first season. And I remember this because I was really young at the time, and it was their music episode. It's the one where they're doing sound effects and the keyboards, which were new for 1983, so it's a long time ago. But they had a one-man band. It was literally a guy that had all sorts of instruments, all jerry-rigged,
Yeah.
like 25 instruments on him, and he's walking around as a one-man band. Totally different now. You can do the same thing, but all with foot pedals, as opposed to contraptions and triangles.
And everyone has a unique way of however
Right.
they work it out to be. But I guess the next, if you're looking to do this type of thing or understand it a little bit, the first thing you could do is just, I think it begins with just thinking, like, you hear music and it's coming out a certain way, but just thinking like there's different parts that are being played, and if you can combine, a couple parts together in a certain way, that's where I have Tommy Manuel to thank for that. My guitar teacher, Matthew Mavis, he's teaching English over at Memorial, but he showed a video of Tommy Manuel playing Guitar Boogie, and that just blew my mind. Both of our minds, we were just watching and like, how is he doing that? Just, it's just really cool. So they'll have to watch it, some of you guys out there. But he kind of turned me on to this whole Travis picking style thing too, which is like, like ragtime type stuff. Yeah, so like that kind of style where you're playing the bass at the same time, or like the that type of stuff. So you gotta learn to do that with your hands. But basically, this is the same thing. It's just kind of breaking those up into different, making it a little easier. You can play parts and have them play for you. So, but yeah, you can kind of start thinking that way, bringing those parts together. That's a good start. Good place to start.
Very cool. So before we have you close this out with another song, so you said maybe some more equipment. What are you hoping to do with your career going forward? What you got your sights set on?
A lot of people ask me that, and it's just I want to just keep going wherever the action is and keep doing what's exciting. And I've found that if you're specific to a point and you can believe in yourself and what you're doing, but you also allow for things to unfold however they unfold, and just enjoy that process, I think for me that's been the recipe for success, and that's kind of what I'm doing, just whatever's fun. And however, I'm doing this because I want to make music, and I'm out in the north woods of Wisconsin, and there aren't too many drummers or bassists around the area to jam with and stuff. There are a few, but I have the music I want to create, and where there's a will, there's a way, and so I'm doing this right now. Someday I'd love to meet some musicians. Maybe someday it could be tomorrow, who knows. But just to create awesome music, because that's one thing you can do in a band. That with the loop, you're kind of locked in with the loop. It's cool, but and there's a lot you can do with it. But when you have 3 or more human beings who understand music from that kind of subconscious level, and it's just that magic happens, where that's really exciting to me. So I want to be part of that too.
Absolutely is.
But yeah, all of it, man. Just loving creating music and letting it flow through me, and having you guys get to hear it here on the radio station. So.
Well, let's do one more song, and I'll step out so you can send it on home here and do one more and build up the track. Sage Leary, thanks for taking time with us today,
Yeah,
and teaching us how the modern world of live looping works. So go ahead and give us the final one.
All right, sounds good.
So yeah, that's a little bit about how live looping works, and I'm glad you guys got to be part of that. I want to play you a couple songs that I perform live that kind of put some of these things I've been talking about into practice, into effect. So just so you guys can see what I do to build up a song and how it all comes together. So this next song I want to play for you, this first song, I'll play you guys 2 of them that I've written. is. The first song is Party Overdrive, and this one's about just getting off work on a Friday and having a good time. So this one's a good one to dance to. Sure to make my time. I'm a ladder to some mad corporation, pitter patter, this is how I spend my time. Hey! Hey! 8 to 5, 9 to 5, everybody working just to stay alive. 8 to 5, 9 to 5, yeah, everybody shifting in to party overdrive. Not sure, but enough for certain, everybody needs a break. Now before we all move on, it's the time to carry on a party like we own the place. Hey! Hey! 8 to 5, 9 to 5, everybody working just to stay alive. 8 to 5, 9 to 5, yeah, everybody shifting in to party overdrive. Everybody shifting to party overdrive. My money working for my phone, working me like crazy till I'm freaking overdone. It's a party, it's alive. Get on with your 9 to 5, it's everybody shifting in. It's a party overdrive. The metro wave today, boss thinks that I'm here to stay. Doesn't matter anyway, we're only living for today. 5, 9 to 5, everybody working just to stay alive. 8 to 5, 9 to 5, yeah, everybody shifting in to party over. 8 to 5, 9 to 5, yeah, everybody shifting in to party over. 8 to 5, 9 to 5, everybody shifting in. Everybody shifting in to party over, drive.